Hello, hello, beautiful people. It's Coach Lacresha Hayes, Raina. And today I'm going to do a little bit of a sofa time because I hadn't done it in a while. And with all these new subscribers, I really think that it's time for me to do yet another introduction um, about who I am and that kind of thing to a degree. But this sofa time is about going forward in life and accomplishing something. So anyway, I um I grew up in the armpit of the world, you know what I mean? In Arkansas, and I grew up on welfare, and my grandmother was illiterate, you know, who raised me. So so to say I grew up in hard knocks is an understatement. Okay, I did. I really did. I was bullied a lot, always fighting. I was just considered the black sheep and the problem child. And you know what? I don't blame anybody who ever said anything bad about me, because a lot of the stuff that they said pertaining to how I was, my personality, my attitude was true. Of course, I didn't see then. I used to be mad because of the lies people would tell about me, the things they would say pertaining to my character I didn't like. I was accused of sleeping with everybody. I was accused of voodoo. Don't let nobody love me. It's like, who gonna love her? It's like she got to be putting a spell on them and all that kind of stuff. And so, I grew up in a lot of pain because I was ostracized. And that was cool. And I say that now because now at this place in my life I have perspective for everything that happened back then. But when I was going through it back then, I didn't have perspective, and I cried a lot, and I was depressed a lot, and I tried to kill myself multiple times, and I did a lot of terrible things. I slept with married men, and I broke up relationships, and I didn't know what boundaries were. So, sometimes I dated two guys that was too close for me to have done something like that. And so my teenage years were rough. I did most of what I did from 18 and younger, between 12 and 18. Then was my really rough year. Really, 12 and 19 was my really rough years. Um, and I'm always talking about, I'm always making a joke about different men being a captain save a hoe. Well, you know, I had a captain come save this hoe. So I know some of y'all like, this girl is crazy. It's the truth. It's the truth. And the reason why I want to tell the truth cold and raw is because so many of us, no matter how many of these story times or no matter how many testimonies we hear, we can't resonate because they are not telling that cold hard truth. So no matter how good the testimony may be, we still feel like, oh, but they ain't did the stuff I did though. They ain't done all of this though. They don't understand how to come back from this though. And so because we feel that way, we often have problems connecting. And since we can't connect, we don't take the advice and we don't utilize that advice the way we should. So moving forward, my son's dad and I got together at 12, and we stayed together for 7 years till I was 19 years old. And then from there, how kind of treachery happened, you know what I'm saying? And then I met my second husband, and he, sat me down, took care of me, and introduced me to the good life. I had never had a man take me out for steaks before him. And he took me out for steaks every week. And I had a new car every couple of years, and new clothes every week, and jewelry, and just an unlimited amount of anything I wanted. He spoiled me completely. And for a moment, I think I dang near forgot where I come from. True story. I had began to get bougie, stuck up, and all of that. And so then we got in church and everything, and it was just this long process. And I ended up getting a pastor that was just really, really a great guy, and he was very entrepreneurial. All three of the pastors that I've had were entrepreneurial. And so each one of them taught me different skills. And because of the skills and these men investing in me time, attention, and holding me accountable to actually use my brain, because I've always been smart, but I've always been fine. So fine is what most people notice. They don't know what I'm thinking. Like when they see me, all they see is, oh, she bow-legged, she got a big butt, and she pretty. So that was enough, and smart was just like a bonus. And halftime, most of them didn't care. It's just like, yeah, you smart, okay. So you can manage all the money. Here go my paycheck, and just pay all the bills. And that was the limit to how they wanted me to express my intelligence. But I ended up with pastors who saw more, and so I ended up self-employed. And I made a lot of mistakes with that because I didn't grow up in a family where business was something that was taught. And so, I made mistakes with hot checks. I made mistakes with budgeting and finances. I made mistakes. Okay. Now, the story could have ended there if I had let it. I could have chose at any point to say I done messed up way too much. I done got one felony, two felonies, three felonies, four felonies, five. At any point I could have stopped and just said, okay, I'm not going to go any further in this. I'm gonna sit down somewhere, get a welfare check or something, and you go on. But it was always a hunger in me, and also because of being mistreated during the times when I needed somebody by various people in my life, even family, I realized that the most dangerous place in the world is to depend on somebody else for your basic necessities. So after a while, I finally caught on to what I was doing. People on the outside, they can judge you all they want. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, she ain't no good. She ain't got no integrity. She ain't got this. She ain't got that. Blah, blah, blah. One thing about me, in all of my felony getting, every time I stood before that judge, if I did it, I said I did it. If I was guilty, I pled guilty, and I took whatever they said, which was almost always probation. I explained what it was, and that was just what it was. And God gave me favor. People can say whatever they want to say, but to go through life and go through all of that fighting, all of that violence, and then turn around and catch a hot check charge and another hot check charge and all of this stuff, and you see a person who caught one hot check charge, no priors, and they go to prison for a year, and you get probation. You know what I'm saying? That, on another hand, started spoiling me. I wasn't afraid of the legal system anymore, and so I quit trying to control my temper and became more violent and more violent. And I think the violence came in when I quit preaching, and I lost my third husband. I was just very angry, but I didn't want to admit that I was angry. I didn't want to admit that I was hurting. I didn't want to seem weak. The Scorpio in me, and saying I'm weak, it's like, what the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? Don't even think that kind of stuff. You are not weak and you don't need nothing, And so because of that mentality, I suppressed a lot. And that suppression, the more you suppress, the more you stuff out the while. And it's just like whoosh, whoosh, a felony, whoosh, battery first degree, whoosh, battery second degree, whoosh, battery first degree again. It's like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? I can laugh at it now because all of it was a part of my making. But, a lot of you would have stopped a long time ago and said, well, ain't nobody going to let me do business with them, with these things being my truth or my reality. But you can't do that. You can't do that. We as people make mistakes. We as people are not perfect. And even people who did not make my mistakes have made just as many or more than I have in some area or another. And what I decided one day in my life was, I'm not going to try to kill myself anymore. I'm not going to punish myself anymore. I'm not going to hate myself anymore, because that stuff is not working for me. It's killing me on the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept the reality that, with me knowing how good my heart is, I love people, and I love people deep, and my loyalty runs for eternity. The only person who can turn me against somebody is that person. I don't turn against people for no purpose. I can be in a room with 15, 20 grown men. Matter of fact, that happened before with my pastor. In a room with a whole bunch of people who don't like a person that I love. Come on with it if you want to. Fence to get you told. And we can step out there and square if you want to. You're not going to attack something that I love. My loyalty is that deep. And I ain't got to come tell you I defended you. Somebody else going to tell you, because I'm a clown so bad. It's going to get around. But I ain't got to tell you nothing. That was me. That is me, you know. But people did not see that. They judged me by my mistakes. That's what people do. But I'm so glad we don't have to consult people in our life and moving forward in our dreams and reaching higher, trying to accomplish what it is that's in us to accomplish. And I decided that it's nobody out there telling the truth, but I know these people's truths. I didn't sit there and saw it. But if they had told me, I would have listened because I didn't want to be how I was. I didn't know how else to be. And as I learned better, each moment I was improving because I was always trying to be better. So I look there and I see that this right here don't work. And then a person might even come tell me, this is this and that. And I'll be like, oh, okay. Thank you for telling me. Now, there's times when I say stubbornly, I'm not going to do something, but it wasn't because I didn't know. Somebody brought me knowledge that I didn't know, and then I just chose not to listen to it. It'd be times when I already knew, but I'm choosing to do something different. But for the most part, most of my mistakes have been because I didn't know. So my thing is, how do I stop people from going through all the anguish that I went through? Because there just are not enough words for me to describe how painful my life really was when I was young. How much it really hurt just to take a breath. In and out was like torture, because I have never in my life been able to quite find the words for what it feels like to well and truly know that you have no help, that you have nobody, and that people don't like you. That was my truth. So I said, I can be weak and cry about it and complain about it and keep on waiting for somebody to do this, be whatever it is for me, or I can be there for somebody else. It don't do me no good. You gone across it? Okay. So it don't do me any good if I am actually complaining about what people should be, if I won't be that person that I know other people should be. So a lot of you, what choice you make, because we all make a choice at that precipice. It's like, I can become just like everybody who's victimizing me, or I can become the person who stand in the way of being anybody else being victimized. Like, if you're in my life, if you're in the realm of my influence, you're not going to be victimized, because I'm not going to allow it. I'm not going to let you be ignorant. I'm not going to let you be stupid. If you go and do it, it won't be because you don't know. You won't have that excuse. Like in my case, people didn't care. They actually enjoyed seeing me fall on my face. So all of that pain and that anguish and that being suppressed and being tortured by people, because I literally was tortured by people. I'm talking about to a degree. People had killed chickens one time, just hung a bloody chicken in front of our door and knocked on the door, and I opened the door and in flies this chicken swinging from our door with blood everywhere. It scared the hell out of me. I've been gang raped. I've been molested. I've been beat by men that I was in a relationship with, and had fights with men that I wasn't in a relationship with. I have been jumped by people because they just did not like me. Like, that was an excuse. Like, I ain't touched your child. I ain't stole nothing from you. I've had people that I call my best friends make up lies about me. Right now, out of all the friends that I've had in my life, it's maybe 2 or 3, 4 maybe, that go all the way back with me. And you know what? The only ones that survived were the ones just like me. Other ones, they eventually found a reason not to like me, and it was cool. If all that stuff hadn't happened, guys, I wouldn't be who I am now or where I am now. Right now, I run 3 businesses. 3. From my home. I don't need a man. So when there's a man in my life, like I'm married right now, he's in my life not because I need his money or him to take care of me or add anything to me other than his presence, his support, and his love. That's it. Okay? I don't need friends, but I have many friends now. And you know why they love me? Because they know that I love them. I quit waiting on people to love me. Quit waiting on people to understand me, waiting on people to like me, waiting on people to give me an opportunity. I fucking kicked the door in. I took my opportunities. I began to be who the fuck I was at all times. And I quit letting people make me feel ashamed of myself as if I didn't have a right. So when people ask me about my story and people envy my strength, don't do that. For what? My whole road was paved with tears. Tears I cried for myself, and then tears I learned to later on cry for other people. And I shed many tears, and I probably will for the rest of my life. Not because I'm not healed, but because even though I'm healed, that doesn't mean that the world is. I still see myself in all kind of people out there. And that's painful because nobody can save you except you. And that's the honest truth. I know it'd be nice if somebody would come in and be everything that you think they ought to be and do everything that you think they ought to do and give you all this love and understanding. You wouldn't receive it. You can't receive something from somebody else you hadn't yet learned to receive from yourself. So I love who I am, and I am strong. I'm very strong, very loving, and that's why I'm strong. Because in all of the bullshit, nobody was able to stop my heart from operating. Nobody. Not the rapes, not the lies, not the beatings, not the jail, not prison, not the public humiliation, nothing. I still love, and because I can, that's why I can say, fuck you, I'm bulletproof. That's what I say to people. Because I am. I don't need anybody, but I love them all. I get my needs met through my creator. It ain't good to need each other. It gets in the way of you giving love unconditionally and being able to receive it back. Because when you need somebody, everything you give is in full view of that need, by reason of that need. When you elevate beyond needing to be validated, needing to be whatever. You know, my husband is young. He might decide any day it's over with. I knew that when I married him. I'm not attached to the fact that he has to be my husband. He asked me to marry him. He did everything I told him to do. You know, I said if he did it, I would marry him not thinking he could do it. He did it. I married him. I kept my word. And if this marriage don't last forever, so what? Who cares? You know what I'm saying? I still love the man. And what we have is beautiful. And what we're building right now is beautiful. And I love many people. I have many friends and many everything that I would have never had if I didn't decide that your opinions, all collectively, are just simply not important. I love you guys. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope it encourages your heart. You can have anything you want. All you got to do is take it out the hands of other people. Quit waiting on other folks. This is your life, sweetness. This is your life. You don't owe anybody no explanations for your life. You know, you are a blessing, and I'm glad that you're here. Whether we friends, enemies, no matter what kind of history we have, there's not a person on this planet I wish was dead. And I'm so grateful that I can say that. That I can say that I had the heart to pray for a person who raped me before. Strength is not muscle. Strength is not being able to knock somebody out, though I will and can. Strength is being able to love the unlovable. And I believe you can do it. Thank you again. And we'll do more of these sofa times. If you have any questions or concerns, you can email me at lacresha.hayes@gmail.com or comment below or hit me up on Facebook. All that information will be below. You go have a very blessed day.